Oh, yeah. It's time. It's time. To get rid of. Well, here's the thing. I'm white, and well, I'm also part Mexican, but nobody believes I'm Mexican. The same way that nobody believes that Kamala Harris is. Oh, I'm not going to say that. It's not woke of me. I'm supposed to be woke now. I went to a re-education camp, and I'm now woke for everybody. For everybody's sake. I want to be more woke. I want to be better. I want to be more spiritually enlightened, just like all you woke people. I want to be woke. I want to be broken. I want to be woke. So let's roll. All right. So I am woke for Kamala. I become woke. And that's it. That's the point I'm trying to make is just like my girl Kamala, I'm only Mexican when it's convenient for me and when I can get free money. I'm not saying she does that. Not really. Trying not to, at least. But I'm woke. Remember, I'm woke. I'm supposed to be reformed. I got to be reformed. Kamala, you're the greatest. Joe Biden, hey, you had a good run. But Kamala makes you holla. Yeah, yeah. Kamala makes you holla. Oh, God. Anyway, this is some bullshit. I want to be woke. All right. I want to be woke like all you guys. But give me one moment. One moment. But it's time to be woke, you know? I mean, you know, I feel like well, a lot of woke people are miserable pieces of garbage. I want to fit in. So I want to be woke. I want to be a miserable piece of garbage like all these woke people who are always mad about everything, about microaggressions. I want to be angry. I want to be upset and offended by everything, just like woke people. So I'm trying to reform. I want to be offended. I want to be offended by things. So that's why I'm doing White Dudes for Harris, because I saw Jeff Bridges, the dude, right? And I got inspired and I was like, whoa, dude, the dude loves Kamala Harris. And he donated $69. Pretty cool. So I thought, well, how do I become a woke ally? I was like, well, let's do White Dudes for Harris, part 2. Now, all those celebrities, they did part 1, obviously, but I want to finish the job. All right. So I think you guys should all I think you should donate to Kamala, because Kamala makes you holla. So White Dudes for Kamala. I want to be more woke. I want to be more offended. That's kind of that's the key. That's the goal. I want to be more offended. I want to be like you guys, all you woke people. I'm envious. I wish I could be as outraged, and I'm trying to train myself to be an outraged warrior, just like you. I admire you. I respect you. I respect how quickly you get angry at the smallest difference of thought that people may have towards you or around you. I want to be as angry as you. That's the key. Because the key to happiness is to be enraged by just about everything. That's the key. And to be offended and mad that somebody has a differing opinion. That's the goal. I want to be like that. So cool. Man. Screw Trump. I want to be offended. If you want to be offended and easily triggered, I want to vote for Harris. Duh. White Dudes for Harris. The dude is voting for Harris. I think I might too. I want to be woke. I really do, so badly. Tim wants to be woke.
Yes.
Tim wants to be woke.
Kamala.
We're live. We're live. Oh, dude, this is killing me. This is killing me. The level of acting that I'm doing is better acting than the dudes that were on part one of what. I don't know if you watched any of the white dudes for Kamala Harris. I watched a couple clips of it and I was like, this is the lamest thing I've ever watched. But now I want to be lame, though. I want to be woke and I want to be lame. I want to be offended like the woke people. I want to evolve. All right. I need to be offended by everything. And I got to figure that. Tim, how do I become more offended? How do I become more woke? I need to know. I know that you're not an expert in wokeness, but I want to strategize my wokeness. So that way
I don't know. Everything's been done. It's like you could become like a female boxer or something, but I don't know. What is there left to do?
Yeah. I'm trying to break the boundaries of woke. All right. I want to be the wokest of the woke. And I'm trying to figure it out, dude.
Yeah, you got to figure like it's got to be something like you got to have like a new vegan water product line. Like Meghan Markle's got a new line of like kitchenware or something like that.
Okay.
But if you could come up with a line of stuff that's like vegan spatulas and tongs, right, or like equitable sea salt. You have to start combining things. Like, remember Logan Paul's crypto zoo that didn't work out? It was supposed to combine different animals and make new species. That's what you got to do. You got to take words like vegan, equitable, and then just pick like a household item, like vegan, equitable grill, and you start combining things.
I see. We just got to combine. So I'm going to combine.
It's like a QR code. There's an infinite number of combinations. So that's what you got to think. You just do infinite like that word generator you have for Google or whatever. Yeah. Put in the word, start pressing it, and see what comes out.
Okay, I like this. So basically, in summary, what I've noted down is combine ridiculous shit together.
Yeah, just combine it and then just post it on the internet, like do a tweet or something, and then it'll take off from there. You don't got to do anything.
And go viral for being super virtuous. Okay, for being super virtuous. I just need to be more virtuous than you, Tim. That is the key. I want to be more virtuous than everybody. Okay, I want to show how great of a person I am on Twitter. Okay, everybody needs to know how nice I am and how much of an ally I am. I'm an ally, Tim.
That's your first word. Punch this into your word generator. Capital gains. Hawk Tua ally.
Oh, hold on.
There you go. That's what you start. You're a Hawk Tua ally.
Oh my. All right, hold on. So let's see. Let me try that again. Hold on. So Hawk Tua.
Yeah.
Hawk Tua ally. Here we go. No, nothing came up. I think there are limits, but
that's what I mean. Everything's been done, but you got to break through the limits.
Oh, well, I'm talking about limits on what'll generate. It doesn't generate anything. It has to be more specific, but that's okay. We could always talk to Chat GPT though. Chat GPT is kind of woke. I mean, let's see what Chat GPT says. Hold on. Let me see if I could share. Hold on. So let's take a second here. We're on the right page though. We're on the right page. In fact,
something they're like Gamergate. What was Gamergate again?
Oh, Gamergate. It was. You know what? That's a good question. I think I
never found out. It was something to do with women and video games or something.
Oh yeah, I think there were some people that were like worshiping Bill Cosby or something like that on Blizzard or something, and
no, I thought it was
people were like.
I thought it was girls weren't allowed to play video games or something.
I mean, dude, honestly, it's a bad idea to have nerdy programmers in the same room with any girl that's even remotely attractive.
Oh, so it was girls programming games.
Yeah, I think it was girls that were programming games or something like that, but I think they were getting sexually harassed consistently by all the nerdy dudes. And a lot of those guys don't see chicks because they're usually, they're programming, they don't and there's nothing wrong with that. But like when they see a girl, they're like, "Oh, we got to make our move," So they're making their move, and I don't know. I saw nothing wrong with it. I
don't even know if that. I don't know if anyone even actually knows what Gamergate was, but people still talk about it.
I think people just want to start controversy because there's money to be made in even fake controversy. So if there's no more controversy, it's like, where's the money at? Sadly, controversy does sell, and that's the irony. So then people have to start making up bullshit about anything, and then people can say it's real. It's like, oh, it's real. You don't have to back up anything with any real evidence anymore. It's all about he said, she said about everything these days. There's no such thing as facts anymore. Facts are so 2010.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just, I think a lot of it has just been communist infiltration in society because their whole thing is just power just for the sake of power. So they'll just make up anything, and then the other side is like, well, that's not fair. I guess we got to make up stuff too. It's just sort of like and then it's just all lies. So
yeah, I'm going to present my Chat GPT real quick. Because I think Chat GPT can show us the way to woke. And if Chat GPT can't turn us woke, I don't know what can. But we'll see. We'll see here.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you see the screen where it has Chat GPT on it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. We're going to ask how do I become the most woke dude in the world?
Maybe it's going to think you're having trouble staying awake. It'll just tell you to drink coffee or something. Educate yourself. Stay informed about social justice. Reflect on your privilege. Engage in meaningful take action. But wait, type in how do I become the least woke?
Oh.
Let me see what it says for that.
Now, just remember, folks, we're trying to become super woke, but we're doing this for educational purposes. So, how to become the least woke man in the world?
Yeah.
How do I become the least woke man in the world?
Least woke person.
Oh,
missing social justice.
Becoming the least woke person generally implies ignoring or dismissing social justice issues, equality, and cultural awareness. However, it's important to consider that such an approach may not be productive or positive.
Oh, no.
As it can lead to misunderstandings, conflict, and harm to marginalized groups like myself. Engaging in respectful and constructive conversations, even with differing viewpoints, can be more beneficial than deliberately avoiding awareness. Let's see. If you're asking out of curiosity or for a specific purpose, like satire, writing, or exploring different perspectives, it's crucial to approach the subject thoughtfully and responsibly. If you have a particular context or reason in mind, feel free to share more, and I could provide a more tailored.
Well, you might maybe ask him like how woke was it when Kamala Harris's husband impregnated their nanny? I think it was from his previous marriage that he got the kid's nanny was pregnant. Kamala Harris's husband impregnated a nanny.
Oh my God.
There's no public record. What? Has been involved in any? Oh, really? So basically,
hold on. What about ex-husband? Wasn't it ex-husband?
No,
or is
her current husband. Her current husband.
Was he with her?
No, it was his previous marriage.
Oh, okay. Hold on. How about this? Let's rephrase it then. How woke was it when Kamala Harris's current husband impregnated a nanny before?
Or former
he was
nanny.
Married
before he was
to
married.
Kamala. There's no verified or credible information suggesting Doug Imhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, was involved in such a situation.
Well, that's not true. He admitted it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Because they interviewed him and his ex-wife, and they both said it happened.
Didn't they interview him?
Yeah.
I'm just like, you see, didn't they interview him about this? And I implore you to do more research.
But that's the thing. That's why stocks are tanking, because everyone sees that AI sucks. Oh, here we go. Having an affair. The affair
There
which
we go.
involved the name. He was also a teacher. Contributed to the end of his marriage with Kristen. Emma expressed he took it.
Let's see, has expressed that he took responsibility for his actions. Yeah, here's the thing, about Kamala, and I want to say this in a positive way. She is a side chick, that is for sure. She started her career as a side chick, but we need to be woke about this. We need to be woke and understand that it's okay to be a side chick and work your way up. All right? So, Kamala, we support you working your way up through, and it's okay to not accomplish anything and get to where you need to go. I'm all about nepotism. I'm all about dynasties. I don't believe in merit. Merit is woke, by the way. Merit is a non-woke term. Your abilities and what you've been able to accomplish mean nothing in my woke utopia. I'm not going to call it a dystopia. If you want to be woke, you got to be like me. All right?
I don't know. I'm woked out. I don't know what's going on.
You woked out.
I woke up. I went back to sleep. Man, wokeness. I don't know. It's coming. But the thing is with this Kamala is like, as soon as they announced, everyone came out. They had white guys for Kamala. And now it's starting to dissipate. Like with every day, the support is like, wait a minute. What did she say? Play that clip again.
Well, I think a lot of people are realizing that Kamala Harris, I think they already realized that she's unlikable. Like her
website has no platform on any policies, and she's the candidate for president.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. The only real policy they have is Trump is a bad orange dude. Like,
well, I mean, they're right. They're right now to get maybe bogged down in, like, all they've done so far is the K Hive. Do you know the K Hive?
Oh, give me 1 second. One second. Hold on. My timer's going off. Hold on. I will say though, I'm kind of clout chasing by doing this. The reason I'm doing white dudes for Kamala is so all the white celebrities that endorse Kamala can endorse me to become her vice president.
Yeah. Well, it's between you and that governor of Pennsylvania and another governor of Minnesota. That's what it's down to.
Because I want to be a woke warrior, dude. It's like she hasn't accomplished anything as far as getting into her position, and I haven't either. I haven't accomplished enough to get to where I could be as of her, but that's why it's perfect. We could both ride on our lack of accomplishments together, and then we can spread the word of wokeness to everybody. We could be woke. We could all be woke and have basically a dynasty. And nepotism. I want nepotism. I believe in a sleep your way to the top kind of society. That's what woke is all about. Sleep your way to the top.
That's the only problem with the movie Dodgeball is average Joe's wins at the end. We don't want that for society. We don't want anybody to win. We want everyone to be average Joes.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about socialism. One of my favorite quotes is, it's like everybody's equal. That's the most important thing. We're equally broke and miserable. So that's why a world of woke. I want a world where everybody's as miserable as I am. I want a world where everybody's envious of each other. That's what woke is really all about: is being envious, and attacking anybody who thinks differently than us. We don't want that. We don't want people to think differently than us. That we've got to be woke. All right. And if you ain't woke, get the fuck out of my face.
See, your problem is you don't have a fake degree. Like they're talking about this guy, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, might be a running mate. It says he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in social science. So he already has like a bachelor in something fake. There's no such thing as social science. And then he got a Master of Science in something called educational leadership, another completely made up degree. So you have to like come up with like Jill Biden, they say she's a doctor, but she has a fake degree. It's some vague education thing. So get a fake degree online.
You can get a you could get a doctorate, which technically makes you a doctor of a certain subject. But I hate it when people who are not medical doctors fucking ride on that shit. They're like, "Oh, I am a doctor. I got my doctorate." It's like, what are you a doctorate of? I'm a doctorate of I don't know, white history or some bullshit. I don't know. But like you could have a doctorate in a certain, and it takes a lot of schooling to get a doctorate of any kind, whether it's a doctorate of medicine or whatever. But yeah. So I mean, technically Jill Biden is a doctor, but not in the way that matters. But, not in the way that matters. But yeah, we got to be woke though. We got to be woker, and we got to be broker. We got to be woker.
Well, the stock market is tanking.
I was happy about that actually. It's because so the reason it is one of the reasons my theory is, this is just a theory. YouTube, don't ban me because I have a few ideas on why this might be happening. All theory, all speculation. It's tanking because Kamala is getting more popular a little bit. Well, in the polls, she's getting more popular, and that's worrying a lot of investors because a lot of investors, not going to lie, like an economy under Donald Trump. They don't like the idea of 4 more years of Bidenomics. Because if you vote for Kamala, you are voting for Bidenomics. You are absolutely voting for Bidenomics. And it's just 4 more years of the same bullshit. Prices going up, dollars being printed in excess and going to places like the Ukraine and and going to endless wars. It's bullshit. And yeah, the American people don't want 4 more years of whatever just happened. Whatever the fuck Bidenomics is, whatever the fuck just happened.
Yeah, like MSNBC's like, oh, Trump's campaign spinning out of control, Kamala surges. But I think that's freaking out the markets because the thing about election years is that's where the media companies make all their money. So even if it's going to be a blowout, they'll say, oh, this candidate's surging. No, now they're dipping. Now here, and they're going to keep it like even because then they'll get more advertising dollars because both campaigns we got to spend more, we got to get more commercial. But like people who do invest, they don't really know that, I don't think. So they're just like, what, Kamala's surging? That's horrible. So selling off.
Well, and I think a lot of people just also are. First off, people have abandoned mainstream media quite a bit. If you notice, the top podcasts in the world right now are Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, even Tucker apparently passed him, which shocked me. It's like, I like Tucker, but I thought he was a little more niche. Like I didn't think he'd have like that huge an appeal. I don't even know what his numbers are. Whereas I see his podcast on Twitter, but I guess he's on everything, YouTube, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's like I think he's on Rumble and everything, but he's spreading. In my opinion, he may be an opinionated journalist, but he is the closest thing to a real journalist these days that I've seen in a long time. He still he talks to as many people as he can. He tries his best to really, actually get to the truth. And he is biased. He's even admitted, I'm biased as hell, basically. But the one thing I love about Tucker is that he will interview just about anybody in the public sphere. In the when it comes to like political figures, he'll interview anybody.
Even Kanye interviewed Kanye for like 2 hours, and most of it was total nonsense. No one had any idea what Kanye was saying. Oh, yeah. But he just stood there staring at him and just got it done. But he had Tim Dillon on. But the old Tucker wouldn't have done that because like after he got out of TV, he just sort of disappeared in the woods. And I'm not sure what he was doing. And then he got back on Fox, and then he got fired from that. And I always thought he was like I said, he had like a specific audience and stuff. But no, apparently he's huge now. Like I remember as a kid, I didn't know nothing about anything he was saying. I just remember with the bow tie, and then I remember Crossfire. Remember the very end of that when that show got shut down, and then he just sort of was like on MSNBC for a while, like he was just sort of around. And then on Fox, he became huge, but I think he was a different person by then. I think he had learned a lot. I think he was just in the past. He was because initially he was just a rich kid who I think his mom wasn't around or something. But anyway, he's a rich kid, and he just sort of did what rich people do. He just sort of hung around talking about politics. He got a TV show. He was really young. But I think he changed during that time when he got like fired a couple times. So, but that's wild. He's like the biggest, bigger than Rogan. Which I don't know. I don't know how these numbers. Maybe he's on Spotify too. I don't know. I only see him on Twitter. Like those get millions of views. But maybe if you add it all up. But that's cool though. I mean, he had Curtis Yarvin on. He'll have anyone on, but he'll have people that Rogan won't have on. Like Rogan, because Tucker is a bit more conservative, certain people Rogan won't have on. It's like sometimes it's just that someone's just too political, and Rogan's like, I don't want to deal with that. Like Rogan won't have Trump on. I don't think Trump never went on Rogan, did he?
Nope, he hasn't been on Rogan at all. I'm surprised. I know that Trump has been on Tucker's show, I believe, right? I think Trump has.
Yeah, well, Tucker's interviewed him a whole bunch of times over the years, I think. But.
Yeah, but I still think it's, I would love to see Kamala Harris and Trump go on Joe Rogan. Maybe not at the same time. Actually, that would be fun to have them debate live in the studio. That would be more entertaining than having a fucking, because that's the one thing I hate about the modern debates is that you have 2 minutes to speak. You don't have the ability to really argue with each other. I want to see him duke it out. I want to see Kamala Harris try to punch Donald Trump, I mean, I'm just saying that it would be fun to see. I'm not going to lie. It'd be fun to see them because we all know that Trump daddy would easily deflect that punch and be like, what the hell are you doing? But I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Rogan had Elon Musk on. So once you're having like the most, you've got billionaires on. I don't know if you ever had Bill Gates. I don't think you ever had Warren Buffett because I don't think Rogan's really into, investing or whatever. But he's had Elon Musk on, so he'll have billionaire, like he'll have the most powerful people on. There's no reason he couldn't be him, Kamala, and Trump, like just in his little room. Because he'll do like a 3-hour one with Alex Jones, so he'll do anything. But there's no reason they can't do that, and then like Rogan sort of moderates it or something.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing I do like about Joe Rogan is he's really about kind of doing what he wants to do. Yeah. He wants to have the people he wants to have on. He doesn't feel, I don't think the great thing about Joe Rogan is he doesn't really listen to all the hubbub around him. He doesn't really, I don't even think he goes on Twitter that much, which is good. I think it's good for people not to go on, because I fucking hate Twitter. I hate Twitter. It's cool, but it's also, I don't know what it is about Twitter that I can't stand. I think it's the people. There's just a lot of people on there that just seem very ravenous and very offended by everything. I feel like I'll give you an example. If you go to 4chan, which I don't always recommend that, but if you go to 4chan versus Twitter, you're going to get a lot more honesty out of people because everybody posts anonymously. You're going to hear what humanity really thinks about things versus if you go to Twitter, everybody has an identity on Twitter, right? They have their name, they have their profile picture.
Yeah.
They feel like they have to be a certain way in the public eye or else they'll get canceled. But if you go on 4chan, you can post whatever you want anonymously. And you're going to see the real side of humanity, in my opinion, when people can post anonymously versus when people have their identity tied to what they think, they're more afraid to say what they really think in a public space. So you're going to see a lot more outraged people on Twitter because, well, it pays to be an outraged little bitch is really the key. So, yeah. So it's really
the other thing is too, the other problem with Twitter is it's supposed to be social media. But like, let's say there's someone who's like, I disagree with, and they're posting stuff that not even just like, I disagree with, but let's say it's factually wrong. But, you can comment all you want, but they may not read the comment. They may mute you immediately, or they may block you. So then half of it then is just people posting stuff that's wrong, and you can't fire back because they're not even listening to you. So then what is it? There's no point. You're just staring at it, wasting your time.
Yeah.
That's my problem with social media in general. It's not social enough. Like all this stuff, half the time you're trying to, talk to someone about what they just said, and they don't even read it. So then what is the point of this?
Yeah. I see exactly what you're saying there.
Man, like this, your show, you have people on, like you respond to comments too, but a lot of people don't. Like a lot of people, if they disagree, they'll just like YouTube, they'll just have your comment removed or they'll just block you or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but isn't it supposed to be social media? Aren't you supposed to come back with something and then it goes back and forth? But they don't want that. It's usually leftists because they're not used to that. Their whole thing is if we disagree, just cancel someone. Don't engage them. Their whole thing is don't engage.
I think the reason I'm so comfortable with people disagreeing with me and hating on me is because that's how it's been my whole life. I've never had anybody kiss my ass. More like everybody's tried to kick my ass. I think that's one of the reasons why I respond to every comment, even the most hateful, heinous ones. I get a lot of hateful, heinous ones on some of my episodes where people are just like, or even short videos where people are just like going at me, like just acting like I'm the worst. Like it's mainly the Bitcoin bros. They act like I'm the worst person alive for exposing Bitcoin for being what it is, a Ponzi scheme. And they get pissed. And I mean, I love responding to those comments because hey, if there's one person who enjoys trash talking, it's me. It's me. I will never, I don't really like to I try to avoid trash talking first. I let the person throw their punch and then I throw my punch. I'm a very, I'll let you punch me first and then I punch a second sort of type of guy for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. I never punch first, I guess. I let everybody try to punch me first and then I punch back. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. And that's how I am on the comment section, man. I get pretty ugly on my comment section sometimes if I'm really feeling pissed at somebody. I have no reputation to hold. I don't care about my reputation one iota. Like I really don't. My image means virtually nothing to me. Nothing. As long as I got my investments and as long as I got the people who still love me in my life, that's all I care about. Like,
yeah, exactly. And at least you engage people. It's like some people. I get it. Some people get like 30,000 comments on a video, so you can't go through them all.
I would love to try. Dude, if I had that many, do you think about it this way? If those YouTubers took 2 hours, 3 hours out of their day, those big YouTubers, and tried to respond to every single comment, now it would be impossible for some of the really big YouTubers, but if they were to hire a company or just some people to respond to comments in, you know what I mean, in a way that would be at least as close to possible as how like let's say I hired you and some other random people to reply to my comments and I get like 10,000 a day. I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. Hold on. I'm having a Kamala Harris moment. Give me a second. And the coconut tree. I will say if I had a whole bunch of people who could respond to comments, especially if I had way too many, it would actually increase my subscriber count because it's been proven most of my subscribers are usually people I've responded to in the comment section because they're like, wow, this guy actually responds to everybody. And they see that I've responded to them. So they're just like, okay, well, he's engaging with us. And I honestly enjoy engaging with people. I really do. Like even the people who hate me. And if I'm pissed at them, I'm still enjoying it, by the way. It's like, people enjoy like the people in the UFC and stuff, they enjoy fighting. A lot of them, like some of them really, I mean, some of them do it because it's good money, but there are some people out there who legitimately love to fight. They love hand-to-hand combat. I love trash talking the same way a lot of those dudes love to throw a punch. I enjoy trash talking. I can't help
it. Like Trump's the same way. Like he loves the fact that they screwed him in the 2020 election because he loves making comebacks. He loves all the lawsuits. He loves that they tried to shoot him. He loves like all this stuff because that's like what he kind of thrives on. And that's what they didn't get. There's sometimes you watch a UFC fight and a fighter is looking kind of sleepy. And you'll see that in any sport. Sometimes a team's kind of sleepy and then something's done to him to wake him up. It's like don't wake him up. Just keep him sleepy and just like cruise along. But they didn't want to do that for some reason for Trump. They thought no, we have to like illegally remove him from the race or try and kill him or something. It's like you didn't have to do any of that. If you just worried about what you were doing, like they could have got rid of Joe Biden, found someone better who might have been able to win. But then they didn't want to do that though. So now the whole country, people who were like, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but after what they're doing to him, it makes me suspicious. Like that's like why they're doing that. So now I'm going to vote for him. So they messed that up.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like here's the way I look at it. If I feel like they were banking on Trump going to jail, and that's why they didn't remove Biden. Like they were thinking that like, oh, we got this in the bag. We're going to be able to throw our political opponent in jail. Yeah. And then it didn't happen because of all the presidential immunity shit. And then they're like, oh shit, we're going to lose if Trump actually gets to run against Biden. Shit. So then what do? They do a coup against Biden. They remove him and then they install Kamala, which I felt like it was really forced. Kamala in 2020 was the least popular candidate, pretty much the least popular. Look at those results in the Democratic primaries for 2020. Nobody wanted her. Nobody liked her. Everybody saw through the facade. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted a single part of it. And yeah. So,
well, what's their convention? Their convention is it's in August, so it's coming up. It's like August 19th, 22nd. Yep. So I mean, I don't know if they would have had time to get a bunch of candidates and vote on them at the I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know. People are still saying though that Kamala might not be the nominee. They haven't done anything. They're like, well, she's got all these delegates. She doesn't have any delegates. They just said, okay, well, we're probably going to pledge it. So they could get there and suddenly Hillary's the nominee. Nobody knows,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think the problem is ever since that Kamala is really in the spotlight. And that's bad. That's bad for Kamala because because there's so many videos of Kamala out there of her saying really ridiculous crap and she really is a radical leftist. She's admitted it several times. I am radical as fuck. Nobody wants that. We don't want open borders. We close. I'm not saying close. I'm saying legal immigration's fine. But let's stop letting thousands of people across the border. That's terrible. We don't know what random people's intentions are if everybody's flooding across the border. Some of them may be good.
Well, they just announced today. They just announced today Biden, and they let in like dozens of people who are on terror watch lists, and they let them in and let them loose in. Dude. It's like I can't imagine if I had like a speeding ticket that I never paid off in the U.S. that I would be able to get across the border. They'd be like, no, sorry, you have to pay this before you're allowed in. But if I was on a terror watch list, I wouldn't even be allowed to book a plane ticket, much less even try and get and they're just letting people in. It's just like, but that's what happened in England. Now there's riots now, like the English are rioting after finally they're rioting. And then there's like, pro-migrants are rioting against so there's riots in England and Ireland like all weekend, but I don't know, it's just crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get the appeal of Kamala. Like nobody liked her, and then all of a sudden we love Kamala within like 5 minutes. Like I'm surprised that these people didn't say no. I get we don't want Joe Biden, but let's come up with something. They just said no. Well, the rumor is that Biden didn't want Kamala. Obama didn't want. Obama's the one who apparently got Biden out. He's the one who sat him down and say, okay, you're out. But he didn't want Kamala because he didn't think she could win. And to screw Obama over for forcing him out, Biden's the one who threw himself, behind Kamala and everyone else just to piss off Barack Obama.
Which is perfect because what's funny is the turmoil in the Democratic Party, the way they eat each other, the way it's almost like a pirate ship. They betray each other so. I mean, that's how politics is. It is a pirate ship, whether you're on the right or the left. But like with the Democrats, it's really bad. Like if they feel like they're going to lose their power, they become real monsters and real backstabbers. And you see it right there. Like what you described is straight up backstabbing. He, Barack Obama and Joe Biden were both basically like giving each other the middle fingers the whole time in a sense. So I don't know. I'm actually, it's funny. I am kind of glad that Kamala is the person running, because I firmly believe she is less popular than Joe Biden. I firmly believe this. I think that she's a worse.
Well, no one even knows who she is. Like a lot of people don't pay that much attention to. Most people don't pay attention to Paul. They were going around New York and different places asking him, "What do you think of Kamala for president?" Everyone's like, "Who?" Like, you don't even know who that is. Like, most people don't even know who the vice president is.
I mean, all people have to do really is just go on YouTube for an hour and look up the candidate. It's not hard to educate yourself on who the candidates are. Like, people are always like, I don't know who this is. It's like, if you have a smartphone and you got YouTube, just look up clips, figure out what she's all about. They could have figured out what Joe Biden's all about. They could figure out what Trump is all about if they're not watching if you're watching MSDNC, then you'll be able to the MSDNC will definitely hate on Trump the whole time. But
I just mean most people don't most people have no interest. That's why everyone said the election's over when Trump got up and did the thing. It's like that's all people are going to remember when they go to the voting. Like, I would say, at least 50% of the people who are going to be voting. Like, if you're someone who doesn't pay attention to politics, but you're still going to vote, all you're going to remember is a couple images. You might, at the last second, see a picture of Kamala and who she is, and that's about it. But you might remember Trump with the fifth. But that's the reality of voting when you've got 150 million people voting.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. It's not so much issues. No one even knows what the issues are, policies or anything. So.
Yeah, it does suck that I live in Oregon. I was thinking about this the other day, because Oregon is probably the bluest state of them all. Well, I wouldn't say the bluest. California is definitely the bluest. I would say that actually there might be a resurgence in Oregon. There might be, because I think people in Portland are getting fed up with the Democrat way overall. Yeah. And I think that Oregon, look, I don't know if this is going to really happen, but Oregon could be voting for Trump. I would like to believe, because it's like, why do people, you get what you vote for is the old saying. And if you keep voting Democrat, which the Democratic Party's become a piece of shit. I would vote Democrat if a guy like Andrew Yang was the candidate. I like Andrew Yang. He had a little bit of a socialist tinge to him, but he's a smart dude. I love Yang. Yang is my boy. But every other Democrat candidate's full on communist, full on socialist. It pisses me off. They're totally collectivist. That's all they believe in is bullshit collectivism. They believe in the group identity over the individual, and they don't care how many individuals they have to get rid of to make sure the group is overall successful. And it's kind of sick. It's basically an ends justify the means sort of way. That's why I'm not voting Democrat unless you give me a candidate who's not a total communist. I hate communism. I hate it with a passion. And the Democrat Party thinks communism's a good idea and socialism. I think it's stupid. And if they really wanted social justice, they would actually probably be. I mean, I'm not saying capitalism's perfect, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than having to live in a world where government controls everything. You don't want to live in that world. First off, you see it in shitty countries where the government controls everything. It just gets shittier and shittier and shittier. Look at North Korea. North Korea is a total dictatorship.
It becomes a third world. Like my dad lives in California. Under another headquarters just left California again. But it's
which my point is Chevron?
But the point is Kevin O'Leary came out and said California's a dumpster fire. So I'm like, how can he live? I'm like, how can he live there? And it's I know how. He lives in a gated community with a giant wall around him and 24-hour security that it's almost impossible to get in or out of. That's how you live in California. Everything else, you're just taking your chances. So.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's the third world. That's what Mexico is. You can live there, but you're going to live in a community with full-time security and everything. So, that's a lot of places.
It's it's kind of disgusting. It reminds me of a king overlooking the peasants, That's what seriously, that's kind of what it is in California. And it's disturbing. There's no, I don't know. First off, this is what happens when you overtax businesses. All these businesses want to leave because they're getting taxed up the ass. They're getting all these regulations thrown in their ass. They don't want it. They're like, okay, let's go to Texas that has less regulation, less taxes. Man, Texas is going to become bigger than California as far as opportunity goes.
And also, it's like if you're in California, see you work for Chevron headquarters, like Newsom passes something where it's the school can gender transition a kid and not have to tell the parents. So it's like just little stuff like
that. Is that real?
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Damn.
So like, what if you got kids?
Can you rephrase that? Can you say that again?
In California, it's now a school can gender transition your kid, and they never have to tell you, the parents, what's going on.
Transition the kid and not tell the parents. I gotta see that. I want to see what ChatGPT says. Is this true?
Yeah, California, July 16th, California became the first U.S. state to ban school districts from requiring teachers to notify parents about changes to a student's sexual orientation. But that's what I mean. If you work at Chevron headquarters, you might not want to live in that state anymore if you got kids. So I think they moved to Texas.
That seems disturbing. Hold on. I am so curious about this. I just want to see. I just want to see what ChatGPT says, though. I'm always so curious because I always want to see how woke this shit is. ChatGPT is being a piece of shit. Hold on, because I want to know more about this because that's so effed up. The school, the government is not the parent of the kid. That is so wrong on every fucking level. In California, the rights of students regarding gender identity and parental notification can be complex. Under California law, schools are required to respect students' privacy and their rights. However, specific practices can vary. School districts, schools are generally encouraged to work collaboratively with students and families, but they are legal. There are legal protections in place to safeguard the privacy of students, especially when it comes to sensitive issues like gender identity. If you have specific concern, damn, dude, that just seems. I don't know. ChatGPT is probably lying to me a little bit. They always seem to. No, when I I don't know. That just bugs the hell out of me. And by the way, I just find that so hard to believe that they don't have to tell the parents. Like parents, I'm sorry. Like the government, the state is not meant to raise the kids ever. Oh, we got Aiden on, by the way. All right. White dudes for Kamala, dude. We're woken up the place, dude. We've woken up the neighborhood by being the wokest. No. I'm you don't have to be sorry because we're being woke. We're so woke that we've woken up the neighborhoods.
Look at my imperialist shirt here.
Oh, nice.
My imperialist shirt. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's riots in England right now. That you got to get over there, bring your shirt. You can lead the riots.
I didn't hear about the riots. That's great.
Yeah, you can flip over a trolley or something. What do they got over there?
There's red buses. The double-decker buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stand right in front of them. Double-decker buses. Crazy.
Oh, hold on. We got a comment as well. Hold on. We got Always Skeptical commenting real quick. Let's put that up on the screen. My grandfather told me that in the 30s, the schools removed historical examples of divine intervention. Washington is in such a story. We just witnessed the most recent that won't be easily erased. Damn.
Oh, they're talking about Trump being shot. Yeah, because they've tried to erase that. Like you go to a certain AI or Facebook and stuff like that, and they're like, "This is a fictional thing; it never happened."
Do they seriously say? Damn, dude, this pisses me off, man. Like I hate that. Like they just don't want Trump to be seen as a martyr or something. I don't know. He kind of was.
There was something where someone put into the AI. It's like, how come you'll answer questions about Kamala Harris's campaign, but not the Trump assassination attempt? And the AI spit back something about the Trump assassination attempt is a fictional story that never happened. Kamala Harris's campaign is entirely real and is like being successful.
That would, honestly, that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't shock me, unfortunately.
Well, Ray or whatever, the head of the FBI, he came out and said that it might not have happened. It's like, we don't know if he was really shot at. He may have been bleeding from the bullet might have hit something else. We don't really know. And then later, the FBI had to come out like 2 days later and be like, yeah, he was shot at.
Yeah, that
Uh,
that just enrages me to no degree, like to every degree, actually. Because here's what do you think, Aiden? I want to hear Aiden's point of view on this because I'm just fired up. I can't even speak. That just frustrates me.
I mean, the 20-year-old was a good shot. I mean, if the guy would have moved like a couple millimeters, he would have been gone. So I think it was a real thing that happened. I mean, there's been so many. If you look back at the past 40 years, there has been presidential attempts, on assassinations. You look at Ronald Reagan. I think he almost got shot, or he did get shot. I don't remember exactly. There was one guy after him. One guy got a shoe thrown at him. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I think two shoes
George Bush,
thrown at him. I think it was in Iraq. I don't remember what country he was in, but it was Bush. I think one of the Bushes.
Yep.
He got two shoes. Almost hit him, but it wasn't really an assassination attempt. It was just a guy being angry, I think. But yeah, there's been like attempts like that. So I mean, obviously, a gun is more extreme than a shoe. I think it was a real thing that happened. I do think that there were people that were angry at Trump. There's a lot of people some people really like him and some people really hate him. He's not really some guy. Some people are really neutral on him, but a lot of people, there seems to be a lot of divisive people on both sides. I really like him, really hate him. So I can't imagine that there wouldn't be someone who wouldn't try to do something like that. So
yeah, there are levels. Like, you know what's funny is I felt very bullied into having to not like Trump, which is really frustrating to me because I like Trump. I liked him before he ran for president. I thought, I don't like some of his morals are questionable, obviously, but there's a lot of people that I like that have questionable morals. R. Kelly. No, just kidding on the R. Kelly part. His music, R. Kelly's music, by the way, Predator or not, is actually good. Like, I actually like R. Kelly's music. I'm actually disgusted to what he became. That's disgusting. P. Diddy was never good at music, and that makes sense that P. Diddy was diddling or whatever. But anyway, I was going a little off the topic. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist. And Trump honestly taught me a lot about finance in a lot of ways, in real estate. And my boy Always Skeptical said it's a school night. God bless you guys. Let's see. But yeah, dude, always skeptical. Stay skeptical, my man, because honestly, a little bit of skepticism in life I think is healthy. I'm not saying that everything's trying to bamboozle you, but sometimes you got to be a little bit skeptical. You got to question shit. And we're not doing enough questioning in life, I think, is the problem.
I wonder who's going to win that Canadian.
Questioning is one of the letters. It's the Q of LGBTQ.
I wonder who's going to win that Canadian election this year. Isn't there a Canadian election this year?
There could be one at any time. The way Canada's kind of like, at the end of a soccer game where the referee just like blows the
Prime Minister could call anyone.
Yeah, whenever he just feels like it's over. So I think you can call it any time. But the problem is one of the opposition parties, the leader, it's like the even more socialist party. They call it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if he stays on leader until January, then he gets a massive pension, even if he loses. So he's going to at least wait till then before calling an election, because the conservatives don't have enough MPs right now to call it on their own. But but if he doesn't call it, there has to be one at minimum every 5 years. So then it'll be like later next year at the like latest.
Okay, so there's like term limits, sort of, or there's term elections, but obviously the prime minister can call one within 2 years. That's what I heard.
You can call one anytime. You can call a snap one. Sometimes like something happens and he thinks he's popular. You can call a quick one, but it's like minimum every 5 years, basically.
Okay, because I know the prime minister has that power. He has a lot of power. He can appoint the senators. He can appoint the Supreme Court judges. He can for all the. He also appoints all the cabinet members. He's a lot of power. The Governor General of Canada.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is the last prime minister, the conservative one, didn't appoint enough senators. So now, even if like conservative gets, then it'll go to the Senate and they might send it back, and then who knows. But,
and
but
it's
the
like
bottom line is
75 years.
Yeah,
75 years for retirement, right? For senators.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, but the bottom line is Trudeau's done. He's like 70%. Like hated in the poll or whatever, like the lowest approval rate of all. We're just waiting every day now to see what election's going to happen.
So do you think he'll win his seat though in Quebec, because he has that seat in Quebec unless he's hated in that one district?
It's hard to say because there's been all these little by-elections along the way, and his party keeps getting like trounced in seats that they've held for like 30, 40 years. So even he might lose his, but he might resign before then just so he can say, hey, I never lost. Because they always want to do like a speaking tour after.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like, so he'll say, hey, I never lost an election. He can use that on his poster, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I've been learning a lot about Canadian politics. I have the Canadian Constitution, but it doesn't go into detail. Like I watched this guy called J.J. McClellan in British Columbia.
Okay, yeah.
J.J. McClellan, if you ever hear of him. And he talks a lot about Canadian politics. He goes a little more in detail. He talks about how the parliament's structured. The Senate's a little weird, how they like group the provinces into different areas. The territories don't what they don't amend the Constitution. The territories of Canada don't do amendments. I don't even think they have senators, and no, I think they do. They might have one senator in the territories. I have no idea how the territories work, but the provinces I know are powerful compared to the territories. Yeah. He goes a little more detail on the
that's the thing is the federal government Canada is well, the federal government Canada actually is a little weaker than a lot of countries like provinces. That's why like we have the carbon tax here, but then they put like a climate tax on everything, and that's why there's like tons of inflation. But one of the provinces said, sorry, we're not going to enforce it, and they're like, what? Like, we're just not. So we're not going to make anyone pay this. And then the federal government was like, well, we want our tax money from the climate tax. And the guys, the Saskatchewan people were just like, well, no. So they took them to court, and Saskatchewan won. They said you can't force them to do your tax and send them the money. So,
well, I heard that the federal government here is actually weaker because we can decriminalize laws that we deem like federally like. So we have like this weed law, right? Federally, weed's still illegal, but we have states that decriminalize laws. Canada sort of has a universal criminal law, except for Alberta with their rats. Alberta hates their rats for some reason. But
wait, what do they hate? Their rats?
Yeah, you can't bring rats in Alberta, like
really?
mice and rodents. Did you hear about that?
No,
that's
I
like
didn't
a
know
thing.
that.
Oh, look it up. Is it legal to bring rats in Alberta? Look that up. It's very interesting. It's the only criminal law that I can think of that the Canadian province really practice. You know, like everything else seems to be.
Province.
Yeah, they're the only one. And what's the fine for it? It's like 20,000, right?
Yeah, it probably has something to do with farmer. Like, there's a lot of farms in Alberta, maybe, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's the only one that enforces it, though. Like, it's the only criminal law I can think of that's separate from federal law.
Oh, here we go. I just got the answer. So no, it is not legal to bring rats into Alberta. Alberta has a strict rat control problem, and it is illegal to own, breed, transport, or release rats in the province without a permit. This policy is in place to prevent the spread of rats, which are considered a pest species in the region. The province has maintained a rat-free status for many years, and violations of this policy can result in fines. Damn, dude.
Yeah, it's the only province I can think of that's rat-free.
It's wild. Holy
Crazy.
shit.
And it's the only province that has criminal law on it, I think.
It's funny that the other ones aren't. It's like, no, you guys deserve some rats.
Yeah. So when they founded Alberta, I looked up, like, there's a history video of Alberta. They founded it for, like, white farmers. They said, we're the most pure province, so we have no rats. And British Columbia even has rats. Like, it's kind of funny.
I saw a rat yesterday on the sidewalk. They're like, I saw one fighting a raccoon. There's like a video of it.
British Columbia's got to be an interesting place. I need to go there. That'd be cool.
It's boiling hot. Look at my face. I was like burning today. I was walking around the sun.
It's rainy, isn't there? Isn't it rainy there? It's pretty rainy there sometimes.
Yeah, it's rainy where I am. It's like a frozen hellscape 10 months of the year. But the July and August are like the surface of the sun.
It's hot here in Maryland. I'll say that much. It's hot here in Maryland.
Yeah, what's going on in Maryland? What's happening on the ground? What are people saying? What are people doing?
Honestly, I mean, Katie Ledecky just got a medal for our state. I don't know, with the Olympics.
Fencing
Katie Ledecky? She's from Maryland, Katie Ledecky.
Swimming, okay.
Yeah, she's a swimmer. She's a mile swimmer. She can run the. She does the mile any better than anybody else. She's got the 20 fastest time in the mile. And then
I'm getting some Maryland breaking news. Man arrested for setting fire to a Domino's pizza using containers of feces after breaking into vehicles. That's like a triple threat. Feces, breaking into vehicles, Domino's on fire.
That sounds like Maryland. That's Maryland for you.
Oh, and
a
kid died when a bouncy castle went airborne. Those things always go airborne. Like wind comes up and the bouncy castle.
Oh, it's a windy state. We have a windy state here. I don't know why you'd put a bouncy castle in Maryland. We're like one of the worst states for that. We have wind everywhere.
Yeah,
I've never walked outside and not feel wind. There's always wind where I'm at. So,
well, I think it's because of where you got. Because let's see, Maryland is like pretty much really north. Let's see, get a map real quick.
It's kind of weird. We're on the Mason-Dixon line, so we're not north, but we're not south either. We weren't a Confederate state, but we're considered south. I don't really understand that, but we're below the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's see,
because the Mason-Dixon line is the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Maryland. Let's see.
What's the best way to eat Maryland blue crab?
I don't eat crab. I hate crab. I don't like water meat. Water meat's not. I like land meat. Anything that like what lives on the ground and eats grass, I like those.
What about Maryland pit beef? You ever have Maryland pit beef?
I think I've had it once. It wasn't very good. I had to use sauce because it was so bad. It was so dry.
I typed in what is Maryland known for. So.
I think crabs. Honestly, if you were Old Bay spice and crabs, that's what I think of when I think of Maryland. I've only been here for 3 years. I don't really know what Maryland's known for. Collapsing bridge I used to take. I used to go on the Francis Scott Key Bridge every day, right, to work. Nice. And it collapsed. A boat ran into it, and the pillar went down while a bunch of cars were on it, or one car was on it, and killed, I think, 6 or 5 employees for the state. Construction workers. It was terrible. And Joe Biden made a whole speech on it. I watched the speech because I was so interested in the bridge because I used to go on it every day. And I have to go through the tunnel. It doubled my commute by double to get to work. It was terrible, that bridge. So
did they rebuild it?
They're gonna rebuild it. It's gonna take 5 years to rebuild.
5
years. It took 5 years the first time. It took 5 years the first time. It's gonna take 5 years the next time. And Joe Biden put a bunch of funding, hopefully, or Congress, I guess, did. Joe Biden doesn't have the power to do that. It'd be Congress. He said, "I will ask Congress for the funding." And it was a whole speech on the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse.
What about
so here's the thing. So was it just because a boat hit it, and that was it?
Yeah, a boat just hit it. If it wasn't for that boat, I don't think.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that was that big.
They called it Baltimore
right?
Bridge collapse, but it was the Francis Scott Key Bridge. It wasn't the Baltimore Bridge, but close enough.
Here's the thing, though. So I guess any sort of big old ass boat hitting any bridge would honestly probably take it down. I mean, any bridge out there, whether it's like the North Bend Bridge where I'm at in Oregon. That's
I heard the worst one was in Florida. I think there was like a lot of people that died in the one in Florida. I think 20 people died. There's a boat that hit a bridge. I think it was one of the Key bridges. Ooh. Or, that was the Keys, the little Key Island bridge. I think one of the boats hit it, and it collapsed like a mile of the bridge. Dang. It's terrible. I don't remember. It was like anything in Florida in the 80s, I think. I don't remember. I looked up like bridge collapses, and that one was one that showed up. But that was in Florida. I haven't been in Florida in years. So I mean, I haven't been in Florida in the 80s because I wasn't alive during the 80s. But it is kind of interesting to look at.
So what's happening career-wise? What's going on with you?
Honestly, I'm still at the same job. I didn't even do nursing. I was still doing it at my warehouse job. Amazon, still doing Amazon. I haven't done anything.
Warehouse.
You still investing though?
Yeah, I'm still investing. I'm investing in the domestic index fund, the 401k.
Oh, you're investing in a VT? You said?
Yeah. I do VT with my Roth, but then with my Roth IRA, but I can't do VT on my 401k. So I can only do the domestic index fund, the S&P 500.
Oh,
So I've been putting a lot
anything's
in there.
better than nothing. Anything's better than nothing in a 401k.
So I
Man.
looked
That's
at
not bad.
all the funds, right? I looked at all the fees and stuff. Every single, like, they put you automatically in a 1% fee, like actively managed fund. And I'm like, no, put me on the index fund. Why am I spending all this money on an actively managed fund? I don't understand it. And so people have been losing money on these fees. They're going to cost them about maybe 200,000. And if they put a lot of money in, they'll cost $1 million in their retirement. Just putting their money in actively managed funds when you can be buying passive funds and save so much on the fees. The trading and just, if you look at John Bogle's books, there's like 3 things you're saving money on if you just buy a passive index fund. You're saving money on taxes, you're saving money on this. There's actively trading fees while they trade the stocks in the fund. You trade on that, and then the management fee, which is 1% every year. You're just saving so much more money if you just buy a passive fund, because the passive fund only trades like only 4 times a year to once a year, depending on which kind of passive fund you buy. So
for me, man, honestly, like, it's funny because I got ETFs in just about everything. I got covered call ETFs. I've got index ETFs. I have a couple actively managed ones. I got like an ETF for just about everything, even sector ETFs, as unnecessary as that is. So my belief is kind of crazy. My belief is that I want variable weighting. I want variable weights. So, like, for instance, in the VT, it's 60% US, 40% international. But even within the US stocks, the different weighting of each of the companies is a little bit different on how they do it within. And another reason why I love having so many different ETFs, as long as they have okay expense ratios and as long as they're index ones, for the most part, I like the variable and weighting is the main key. Like, one fund may have way more Microsoft shares or stock that they own versus maybe this other ETF that's index based might have, I don't know, Tesla or some random, I don't know. I don't
Apple
really look
or
at
something.
Yeah, something like that. But the weighting is varied, right?
Yeah,
so if you have multiple ETFs, you get a bit of a variable in the weighting of the stocks. So you kind of have a little bit of a choice there. Well, not a choice, but like you have a little bit more of a. It spreads it out. I think it's diversification of weighting along with the diversification of actual assets. And another thing is I have an all-weather portfolio, which not only has stocks and stock ETFs, bond ETFs, I have commodity ETFs, I have
is that Ray Daddio's all-weather portfolio? Ray Daddio?
Yep.
That's the guy?
I call him Ray Daddio though, because I call him the daddy of finance. I love Ray Dalio.
The daddy of finance, Ray Daddio.
Yeah, Ray Dalio. That's why Ray Daddio, baby. But yeah, no.
I don't know a lot about him. I should read more into him. I haven't read a lot about him, but I should.
If you get bored though, look up the all-weather portfolio. Kind of like look up some summaries about it. It's a really interesting philosophy. I don't adhere to the exact weighting. My goal is just to be exposed to every single asset class that I can. That's my key. If I can get exposed to every asset class, I will have an erection that'll last forever. So
it's good to be long and sturdy. Yeah.
Oh,
for many years to come.
Girth is the new length. But it's all right. Anyway, Tim, sorry about that, man. I want to get Tim's input on our input.
Sorry about that.
So, Tim, what do you think about all the craziness that we just spat about? You have any input?
Actually, my screen froze up for a second. I heard something about girth, and then it froze, and then it revived.
Yeah, you want to have girth is the new length.
You want to have a long and girthy portfolio. And you want like a yield curve pointing straight up to the, but I don't know, everything's dipping right now. What's going on? Is the economy collapsing? You know more about economics. What's going on?
I mean, I would say the Keynesians just their policies aren't working anymore. It's clear to me that the Keynesians have they keep printing more money and it's not working like it is. The what is it called? It's the theory of non-fungible funds or something, non-tradable funds, basically where you put money in the housing market, right? Let's say the banks want to put money in the housing market, but it doesn't actually increase production. It makes people feel good for that time period. So it makes the illusion that there are profits and that there are actually more production happening, but it's not actually happening. So the profits are an illusion. Just the profit and losses are just sort of an illusion right now because they put so much money in the market that you can't tell which company is actually that productive anymore. I don't know
but
how to explain it, but
the
I
part
see
I
what
don't
you're
get.
saying.
Yeah, the part I don't get is, I think in Canada, maybe where you are too, is like they're like, well, we're gonna, you know what, we're gonna lower interest rates now because it's been really rough, and let's lower them. And they're like, okay, are you gonna stop spending? No, we're gonna spend more than ever, but we're also now gonna lower interest rates. They're like, how did that happen? You said you're raising interest rates because of inflation. Now you're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just lower.
and that's going to really hurt us in the long run because we're going to have to borrow even more debt to pay off the debt we just spent all that money for the other program. So that's going to really hurt Canada. Canada, I think, Canada might be in a worse financial situation than the United States. I mean, I look at the housing market in Canada, and they're barely producing enough building permits to for their population. I heard
our population, because they're doing record mass migration. It's like 2 million a year, plus all these like students who are like, not really students. There's like degree mills.
And I saw the prime minister brag about like the properties he built, and it was not even enough to like house like 60,000 people. The amount of people he was bringing in was way more than the amount of housing he just bragged about building.
But they said, because their environmental policies, you can't build anywhere because you can't cut down any trees. So then they don't know what this. They're just bringing people in, and so they're just sleeping like 20 migrants in a room. They don't really know. So a lot of them are just leaving. A lot of them are going to the U.S. or back.
It's kind of contradictory because Canada is like a higher lifestyle than some of these countries. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I mean those countries might produce more coal, so maybe they are more environmentally destructive to live in those other countries. Who knows, right? But hypothetically, if you're an environmentalist, wouldn't you want to cut down the amount of people in your country? Hypothetically, isn't it contradictory to have more people in your country, but to also have lower carbon emissions in your country?
I asked someone that. I've asked like a few politicians that, and they're like, well, you just said that we need to reduce the population for the environment, but you also want to increase the population with mass migration. He's like, how does that work? And they don't really have an answer. They're just sort of like, well, I don't know, maybe it'll be okay. I'm like, what does that mean?
I feel like that's the problem with left wing is the left wing parties or whatever. They seem to have some contradictory problems. So, for instance, I talked about the labor theory of value and the concept of human rights and how they contradict each other, right? So let's say food is a human right, but you also value the labor of the farmer, right? This is an interesting concept, right? Kind of, not really, but let's say food is a human right. Well, you have to force the farmer to give you food. If food's a human right, you have to force the farmer to give you food. You don't value the farmer's labor over the food then. So what's more important, the human right for the food or the labor for the farmer?
Yeah,
nobody can seem to understand.
Like one of his ministers said, if you take like a summer road trip with your family on a car, you're burning the planet down. And the prime minister took a jet across the country to go to the beach. And they went and found him, like some journalist found him hiding on the beach. And they go to him like, didn't you say we were burning the country down? How could you take a jet here? And his answer was basically, well, if I'm going to go to the beach, this is like the only way I can really get here. Like, so in other words, you just felt like it. So if I take a car anywhere, I'm burning the planet down, but you can take a jet to go to the beach because you feel like it. Like, what is going on? And then, but then they don't really answer follow-ups. They just sort of take off. It's like,
that prime minister is a little strange. I don't know what's going on with Justin Trudeau and his cabinet.
Almost over. It's like we're in the final year, Andor's like 6 months.
So wait, when is Justin Trudeau basically getting kicked out? Like, because
maximum 1 year, basically maximum 1 year, but an election could be called at any day. So.
Well, let's hope they call it soon enough because I think. Well, what's funny is all these right wing candidates are winning in like Europe and stuff. Wasn't that something that happened? And like basically the whole people are tired of left wing shit. They're tired of what the Democratic Party has become. What the Democrat Party has become, not only in the U.S. but also everywhere. Everywhere is all these Western countries are trying to become woke, and people are fighting back. They're like, no, we don't want open borders. We see the damage that has been done. If you honestly, and here's another thing, by the way, about Kamala Harris, which is pissing me off. They're trying to suppress every record of her terrible record at the border. At the border. Straight up. Like, one of the reasons we have such a messed up border is because of our famous border czar, Kamala friggin' Harris. And I wish nobody wants to talk about it though. Everybody's like, oh, no, she did. No, she wasn't the border czar when every mainstream outlet said that she was the border czar. She was responsible for the border. Now they're saying, no, we never said that. It's straight up, it's gaslighting 101. If you want to learn how to gaslight people, watch media coverage from last year and watch media coverage for this year. It's a masterclass in how to gaslight everybody. You basically say, don't believe your lying eyes, you piece of shit. You piece of shit. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to me. You're crazy. It's gaslighting 101. It pisses me off. I don't know. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. I'm trying not to. Try not to rant, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the news that much because I don't really trust the news anymore. It's kind of hard to trust them after so many. Oh, I saw like Donald Trump got knocked down. I'm like, oh, he fell over, and then it was like a day later, oh, he got shot. I'm like, oh, what the heck? Like this is like you were there. Like the news media should always be there, right? When Donald Trump's speaking, so you should know that he got shot.
There's one headline that's like Donald Trump falls on stage after loud noise.
I'm
Dude,
like,
some of those articles were fucking lies. They were trying to make it seem like nothing happened. No, he didn't. Nothing happened to him. He's
getting older. He fell down on stage. I'm like, what the heck?
If he would have been killed, they would have said that he shot himself. That's what happened.
You would actually, I actually do believe it. The media is they lie so much now that I don't know how much I could trust them anymore. It's
Trump,
really, I could never. I mean, I never truly trusted them, but it's getting worse.
I realized something. Trump suffers from battered woman syndrome.
Uh-huh.
Hear me out. Okay, he suffers from battered woman syndrome. The mainstream media is the coked out drunk boyfriend who's wearing the wife beater and then hitting her and not leaving bruises and then telling everybody she keeps falling down the stairs. How clumsy is she? It's basically, dude, the mainstream media is basically the drunk, coked out husband, and Trump is the beaten wife, and he doesn't know how to proceed anymore. We got to get Trump to a women's shelter is what I'm trying to say. We got to protect him from the media because the media, dude, is a fucking drunken, abusive husband.
I would argue, though, that the media is what got him elected in 2016, but then 2020 didn't work out as well because he was so hard on Joe Biden. I feel like because he was harder on Joe Biden that year, and I feel like people didn't understand that Joe Biden was declining that year, that's what got Joe Biden to win. But I think this year with Joe Biden, I mean, he dropped out of the race. But this year with Joe Biden, I mean, when he was doing that disastrous, that disastrous debate,
mm-hmm.
I think this year it might actually work again, that strategy from 2016 where the media just baskets him again over and over again. And it's like one nail will hurt one politician forever, but like a bunch of nails that he says, because he just calls people names like Meatball Ron or whatever. It's kind of funny. It makes me laugh. His lack of caring is what makes me laugh about him. And he can't really be bought that much. Although it seems with his vice president pick, it looks like he's been bought out. So it's interesting to me that like the tech companies seem to be funding his vice president. I think he picked his vice president so he could win more. I could be wrong. His vice president seems the complete opposite of him. You look at his foreign policy, his foreign policy seems the complete opposite of Donald Trump.
Well, look at Mike Pence. I mean, Mike Pence was kind of
it's completely different.
In a lot of ways, he was a lot different. So I don't know. I think
well, Trump didn't want to pick J.D. Vance. It was his sons that convinced him to. He was going to pick what is it, the guy from North Dakota, Burgum or something? But then I guess his sons like J.D. Vance, and they told him no, pick J.D. Vance because I think they liked him, which is better. At least he's listening to those two and not Jared and Ivanka, who are horrible. It's like they seem to have been totally pushed out of the picture, basically. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I like Donald Trump's foreign policy way more than I like J.D. Vance.
What's J.D. Vance's?
So J.D. Vance wants to get more involved in the NATO and stuff. I'm not a big NATO supporter. I think we should just be pulling out of NATO. We should only be protecting Mexico and Canada. Those are the only two countries that we should be protecting. The rest of NATO, we don't need to be protecting. Mexico's not even part of NATO, but I would argue we need more of a stronger alliance with Mexico than we do with the rest of NATO. NATO should just be able to protect themselves. They don't need us. I feel like.
Yeah.
I think they rely so much on us now with our defense budget and all that. We fund way more. We've put more contribution in NATO than any other country. That I feel like now it's not really. It doesn't make any sense. The Soviet Union's gone. There's no reason we need NATO anymore. I mean, the Russian Federation is not that big of a threat for NATO.
Yeah.
Even one member gets attacked, all of NATO will respond to the Russian Federation aggression. You know, so I just don't think that the Russian Federation has a lot of people left to fight their wars. I mean, I could be wrong, but and NATO's population is declining too. I mean, European Union. I mean, population is also declining. They have a low birth rate as well. But I just think that Europe needs to find a way to protect themselves. Why do they need us? Why do they need the United States and Canada to protect them? They're part of NATO too, Canada, but I'm just wondering, why are we still part of this alliance when the Soviet Union's gone now? You know, I mean, the Russian Federation's still around, but
well, in a lot of ways, I do kind of think so. I think there's a lot more misses than there are hits with NATO. When I say that, I mean, like, I think, first off, I don't think Europe doesn't want to end its alliance with us because they know how powerful our military is. I think Europe's pretty fucking weak. If you're gonna be, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're weak and they need us big time. Second, I think that they don't want to let this, and that's another thing. Donald Trump can use that to his advantage if he becomes president again. He can use, because he could be like, okay, I'm pulling out of NATO unless you guys start maybe paying for some of this Ukraine bullshit that Joe Biden got us into. I mean, he could start telling other countries to maybe pay their fair share, because a lot of countries haven't been. Taxpayers in the U.S. are basically fronting the bill for the war in Ukraine, which is very frustrating, by the way. If all these NATO allies care so much, maybe they should also throw some money into the pot, or throw some military shit into the pot. I don't know, weapons or whatever. I still think
feel like the Polish military and the French militaries are probably the best in NATO. I could be wrong, because they got the French Foreign Legion that's been fighting in West Africa for like the last 20 years. And then you got the Polish that's been armed to the teeth. They keep buying every single tank that we have. Just keep buying tanks from us. So, yeah. I don't know. The Polish, they want to defend that border because they were occupied for over 70 years by the Warsaw Pact, the Soviet Union, and Nazi Germany, and they've been invaded so many times in their history. They just don't want to be occupied again. They feel like NATO is the one thing that's protecting them from being occupied again. They don't feel like NATO is occupying them, compared to like the Warsaw Pact. So they feel like the Warsaw Pact was more occupying than NATO. So they would rather join NATO than having another Warsaw Pact. There's never going to be a Warsaw Pact probably ever again, but you never know.
Well, but Poland has like huge immigration restrictions, and their population in 1960 it says was 36 million, and today it was 29 million in 1960, 36 million today. So it's gone up about 7 million since 1960. So that's like 80 years.
Probably almost all Polish people.
That's what I mean. Like, what's wrong with that? They got it nice and steady. You don't have to
it's pretty cold in Poland as well. So, like, as far as I know. So
I'm surprised they're able to keep their population, because you look at like Lithuania. I think they lost like 40% of their population from the people moving out. Bulgaria, I think lost 47% of their population by just people leaving, going to richer European countries. So, I mean, and I think they're part of the European Union, so they can legally do that. They don't have to get a visa policy, I don't think. I think they have open borders with other European countries. So, I mean, there's some poor European countries that somewhat have benefited from European Union, but then at some points they've lost so much population, it's probably been a net negative overall. So I don't really know. There's some benefits to the European Union and NATO. Obviously, they're two different organizations, but there seems to be a lot of overlap between the two organizations. And I think that the European Union will probably make their own army eventually, and they'll probably have their own sovereignty and will become a federation of states. They'll probably be called the United States of Europe if they really want to be like official about it. I'm wondering what's going to be the future. I mean, obviously you're going to have 26 official languages like they do now. I don't think they're going to want to do that.
The countries are uniting. Like it's like in Ireland, you have Catholics and Protestants marching together this weekend.
Oh yeah, Northern Ireland might unite. And you know what's interesting, man? So you know the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the Northern Irish people, right? They can pick between Team Great Britain, or Team Ireland. So if you live in Northern Ireland, you could pick between one of those two teams. But there's no Northern Irish team. It kind of sucks, but it's kind of like, what? There's no United Kingdom team, so they made a Great Britain team and they made an Ireland team for two different islands, which Great Britain's not even a country. It's part of a country, which is the United Kingdom. But whatever. That's what they did. And so Northern Irish people can pick between to be Irish or British. Which is the strangest thing.
That's how I feel about living in Oregon. In between Washington and California, we only have one pro sports team, and we have two actually, soccer and basketball. But we have the Blazers, the Trailblazers. But when it comes to other sports like baseball, I have to either be a Mariners fan or I have to be like an Oakland Athletics fan or some shit like that, or an LA Dodgers fan or something, or for and I know this is on the states level, not an actual country by country level, but like, what's the other one? For football, we don't have a football team, so it's either the Seattle Seahawks or one of the like San Francisco 49ers. But yeah, no Oregon football team or anything. So like I understand the pain if whoever has to live in between those two again.
It's kind of funny because you're an Olympic athlete. You can just pick between one of the two. No, it's like, it's not like you're just supporting a sports team. It's actually you join a sports team depending on which country you have an allegiance to.
Yep.
In Northern Ireland, which is so strange to think about. And their parliament, so they have an pro-Irish prime minister, and they have a pro-British prime minister. And in order to get anything done, you have to have both parties agree on it. So their government can shut down for like 180 days. They get nothing done with both the pro-British and pro-Irish side of the parliament. It's crazy how their government works.
By the way, you guys, I have a theory, a real quick theory. I want to try to boost the engagement from people viewing. So I'm just going to start saying a whole bunch of woke things real quick. We're good allies. We love Joe Biden. We love Kamala Harris. Kamala is our queen. I love Beyonce. I love Lady Gaga. They're so great. I am a warrior. I'm an ally. LGBTQ rules. We love Kamala. She makes us holla. Joe Biden's the man. Trump is evil. But yeah, I think that if I say these things, YouTube's going to start having more viewers pour in. So I want to make it to where this video doesn't get banned. So I want to like have like little key talking points where I'm like, Kamala's so cool. Oh man, Harris 2024. Boom. If you're not with us, you're against us.
Here, I'll rescue it. Like out here, all the women are getting septum piercings through their nose. What's going on in Baltimore? Is that happening?
Oh, that's very common in Baltimore. You got some of the angriest women out here in Baltimore.
No one had one 5 minutes ago, and now everyone's got one.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing over here in Baltimore.
I'm going to an indie concert in Vancouver. This band on Wednesday. The over/under on septum piercings in the crowd is like 68%. I
don't like them. They look so ugly and disgusting. I don't understand the appeal to them, you know?
Oh, like just like right here in the nose.
Yeah, some of them just have it like they look like a bowl, but like one. Sometimes they have two, and they look like a.
I didn't realize how popular septum piercings are. I guess I never really take a look at any. I know my girlfriend's got one, like one right, like one of those little septum piercings. But like, yeah, I've never understood piercings in general. Like, I don't even like doing ear piercings. I don't even have my ears pierced. I got nothing pierced. I mean, the only time I've ever been pierced is if I'm like riding my bike and a branch goes into it or something like that, and my skin gets ripped off. That's about the closest I've had to piercings is things kicking my ass by accident. So,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a good thing. I think I'd rather be pierced by doing something worthwhile than be pierced by some dude with tattoos on who's just like smoking a cigarette.
Like one of the few things like I would get a tattoo. Like let's say I joined the Marines, right? And you know the skin tags, right? So like let's say you were, instead of getting like the metal tag, you can get it like grafted onto you. That would be like the only tattoo I'd probably get. is the graft tattoo where they put your name. So if they find your dead body in the battlefield, which is kind of sad to think about, but you got a skin tattoo instead of this losing your necklace.
That's what we got here. Septum piercings in tent cities. Do you have a lot of big homeless tent cities? Because we got them here, and what people do is they fight. Like the tent people argue with each other, and then they light each other's tents on fire. Then the fire department has to show up.
Dude, that is so messed up. Like, why would people do that to each other? And like, they're already in a shitty situation. Why can't they just? I understand that people fight. I get that, but like, why would you go out of your way to burn somebody else's house down? Because that really is their house.
Yeah, that is terrible.
That is so messed up, dude. That pisses
we don't
me
see
off.
that. We do have like random people that are like dragged out in the middle of the street and they walk right in front of my car. That's what I drive right by the druggies every day when I get to work, and they're like in the middle of the street. I have to slowly drive past them because they're like, there's a sidewalk right there, and they decide to walk right in the middle of the street, or just walk on the street where there's cars going the opposite direction. I'm like, dude, I know you're drugged out or whatever, but is it really that hard? Do you miss the sidewalk? Like, I don't understand, but I guess they don't care. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, it's like downtown Coos Bay, for instance. I drive, like, I'm always looking at both sidewalks. I'm looking at the road. If I start seeing anybody in the road, or even looking like they're about ready to jump out on the road, I immediately put on my hazard lights and I start going like 10 miles per hour. Like, I'm just like, I don't trust this shit, dude. I don't trust half of these. There's a lot of drugged out people here in Coos Bay. It's probably just as much in Baltimore, dude. Anywhere really. What's sad is like, this is one of the reasons why I want them to close the border so we could stop the fentanyl epidemic as well, because we gotta stop the fentanyl shit, man.
I would say the drugs have won the war on drugs. That's the only thing I gotta say. The drugs have won the war on drugs.
You're right.
It's been 40 years.
Drugs will always sadly win, and it's unfortunate. But
we spent billions of dollars in enforcement, and all we did was we ended up locking up people that use these drugs, and then they go back on the streets and do the same exact stuff. Yeah. They've won. The drugs have won. We have to admit it. And the federal government's just they'll just double down. They'll do the same things, same stupid crap again, hoping that it works the second time. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Like what we've got here is they build like housing projects and put them in hotels and stuff. But then the homeless people, they fight each other in the hotel and try and set their rooms on fire. So they get kicked out of the hotel. So then they go live in a tent across the street on like the sidewalk or a field. And then they just sort of hang out there. That's what we got. So I don't know.
They put themselves in a much worse.
Yeah, and also it's like I was on the bus the other day, and two of the hobos started fighting each other because one of them had like some beer, and the other one walked by, or something like that. And one of them said hi, and the other one didn't notice him. So then the guy goes sit down, starts yelling at him. You didn't say hi to me, and I want a beer and everything. So they start fist fighting while the bus is going. And then some construction worker home from work, like he had to jump in between him and separate him. It was wild.
This is wild. They made themselves in a worse situation. They were in a hotel. They started burning down the hotel. Then they go in there.
Yeah, they're always burning stuff. They're always trying to burn the woods down near there behind the Burger King.
Oh my God, Jimmy the arsonist is having his way with the hotel room. Oh my God, he's having his way right now.
Dude, this pissed me off because it's getting worse. Like, the thing is, all these drug users, they don't care if the world burns around them. They're already they've already burnt their own life together.
It's so interesting because like liberals think the opposite, right? They believe that environment makes bad people, but the conservatives, most conservatives, some of them say it's the people that make the environment bad. So it could be the mix of both. I'd argue that it's a mix of both. I mean, the liberals are partially right and the conservatives are partially right. I could be wrong, but
I believe it's all internal. I think if more people took accountability for shit and actually, if everybody collectively thinks the world is going to end, they're going to find a way to make it happen. If everybody collectively says, hey, we're all responsible for our own shit, if we can at least all work individually, be productive members to society to some degree, to whatever degree, and stop burning shit down, then things will get better. It's like people rioting in the streets and burning shit down, and even, people on drugs and burning shit down. That doesn't make the world any better. That just means you're a piece of shit. And you just, honestly, I think we need to bring back the belt. Like,
so,
we need to whip kids. I think
So my father said the worst thing you could do is be a drug user and then steal copper pipes to sell drugs. He's like, that would be the worst thing you could possibly do. That'd be like the low life of society.
Because I feel like
That's
a lot of this
horrible.
stems from kids not getting spanked or
Yeah.
something. Because like half of I think a lot of the young drug users these days are all people that
With positive enforcement. Nope.
that probably
No nigger.
were never told no. They were never told no. They were never spanked. I think that there is an element of that needs to be done, or else kids turn into spoiled brats.
And you have to listen to Aaron Clary. I think if more people listen to Aaron Clary or Mike Rowe, one of those two guys who are like career coaches, those guys are probably the best people to listen to on career advice. Mike Rowe and Aaron Clary.
I'm honestly glad my dad hit me a few times when I was younger, because there were times I was a piece of shit. And I honestly do have to attribute to the fact that I'd be even more of a piece of shit probably if I wasn't at least disciplined as a kid. Although, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have been. Every kid goes through a phase. But I think that the problem is, I'm not promoting violence against children, people. Just want to say that right now. I'm saying, how do I say this legally? I'm just saying, in a hypothetical world that I believe should be real, you should slap your fucking kids if they're being pieces of shit.
Yeah,
that's all. And I think that one of the reasons we see so many drug users is I think they came from families where they weren't disciplined at all. They weren't slapped, or maybe they weren't slapped enough for being pieces of shit. And there's also other factors that weigh in on this. They could have also came from a piece of shit household and are only repeating
a very
what they
abusive
know.
family. So like where some households are like, oh, respect is given, not earned, or whatever. And then some households are like, respect is earned, not given.
Yeah,
and so
it's all about philosophy, man.
It's and you got the abusive households follow the first philosophy, and then the second households follow the second one. And if you're a piece of crap, then I can kind of see them hitting. If you follow that second philosophy and then you tell your kid no, and you slap them just a little bit on the wrist, not crazy, but I can kind of see the second household having a more successful kid than the first household, philosophically wise. And so, like, respect is earned, not given, and then respect is given, not earned. Like, the second one's better, I think, for raising kids. I could be wrong, but
there's an element of truth there, man. There's a lot of truth.
I don't know anything about raising kids.
I love doing this shit, dude.
I was a kid, but I don't know anything about raising kids.
Can I just say though, my goal at this point is to be Piers Morgan. I'm trying to be Piers Morgan.
That guy, that British announcer guy on the news.
That's why I'm doing these. I'm trying to be more like Piers Morgan, where I get a bunch of people together. I want to try to get a couple raging feminists on the show, though, one of these times. That's really the goal. I want to get a couple raging feminists on this show to bitch me out.
Oh, you need to get my brother.
Oh, dude, honestly, if your brother ever wants, because you say your brother's pretty on the woke side, right?
Yeah, he's a John Oliver fan.
We need to get your brother on the show and have him bitch us out.
Oh, he definitely. He bitches me out all the time.
John Oliver, like, his fans don't just watch John Oliver; they want to be John Oliver. So they talk like him with the same sarcasm.
They do. They talk a lot like him. My brother's a big John Oliver fanboy, but
I'm really just trying to steal the Piers Morgan format.
I watch a lot of John Oliver debunkings. Like, I watch people that disagree with John Oliver a lot. So it's crazy. I do respect some of John Oliver's work, but then some of it's like he's completely wrong economically on how this works.
Yeah,
but, he has a good OnlyFans. I'll give him that. But everything else is awful.
John Oliver's on OnlyFans?
I guess so.
I wasn't supposed to say that.
I wasn't supposed to. That's secret. He puts a secret link down there. No.
He has a secret OnlyFans.
I was thinking about starting an OnlyFans for the show. I'm not kidding. Where I just where I do a show completely naked for OnlyFans. Just where it's like, hey, you get the same, not advice, but the same information, the same education, but you just get to see my fucking man boobs, and I might show my wiener on there. I doubt it, but
I would create a Fansly, and I just have a VTuber model. This would be crazy. It'd be the most political VTuber possible. Be like John.
Don't even acknowledge it. Just be like, here's my top 10 index funds for the month of August 2024, but do it naked.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all you gotta
just put
Do it.
some clothes and stuff and just act normal about it. I get that. That's awesome. That's a good
That's
way
what-
to do it.
Yeah, just do it naked, or have like a VTuber model next to the naked guy. Just have both of them pointing to the index fund. You need to buy this one. And this is a VTuber guy point to the index fund. Ticker symbol VT, VT.
Oh my god, yes.
I can't
Oh
think
my
of it.
God.
I'm thinking of like something crazy, but I don't know. It's Fansly. You can do Fansly and only fans.
Oh, there's an alternative to OnlyFans called Fansly.
Yeah, Fansly. I've been watching VTubers on Fansly.
Is that rare? Is that relatively new?
I think so. Yeah.
So what is it? So what's the model for Fansly? Do I just like sign up and then do people give me money?
Yeah, I think it's less adult film, I guess I would say, than OnlyFans, but I think there's still some adult stuff on there.
Sweet.
yeah.
'Cause I still gotta hang dong at some point. So
Yeah.
I gotta,
There's still a lot of adult content on there, I would imagine. But yeah.
well, I'm gonna go to OnlyFans. I'm not into that softcore shit. I want to go hard porn. So I want to be the hard. I'm hard finance. I'm not soft finance. Right?
Hard
So
finance.
I'm
Hardcore finance. Hardcore.
I'm all girth and no length, bitches. So
you could do like the same with Twitch. Do like you're just call it like naked Roblox, and it's just you.
Oh, people have been banned for like flashing on there on Twitch though. They've been kind of strict on that. Although if you just expose the upper of your chest, like if you're a woman, expose the upper of your chest, you get a lot of fans.
well, I fucking hate Twitch, so I just want to go in there and get banned. So I'll just go fucking butt ass naked. I really fucking hate Twitch so much. Like I'll recreate meat spin if I have to.
There's some inconsistent policies on Twitch. Like one person gets punished for like the littlest thing, and another person gets punished for like, gets not punished at all for like the biggest thing.
That's gotta be a T-girl. That's what I gotta do. I gotta put on makeup and a wig, and then I'm a lady. I'm an e-girl, and then just show.
I think even like a transgender woman would probably make a lot of money on Twitch because they're very woke and liberal. I bet you their base is very woke and
I could
liberal.
take it. Yeah, I could be woke. It'd be like I'd be living a double life. I could be super duper woke on Twitch, and then just be super duper not woke on. What I need to do is I need to have a woke Rumble channel, and then just get everybody pissed off at me on Rumble because of how woke.
That would be funny.
Be like a pro Joe Biden show and be like, hey, or pro Kamala and be like, look, I've changed. I've
changed, man.
It's tough to believe me though because I'm so sarcastic sometimes with half of that shit. So I can never be full on woke. I can never be truly woke.
It'd be kind of hard for me too.
It's tough. I can't.
I made a whole
level of acting is so rough.
I made a whole new YouTube video about the Olympic boxing controversy.
Ooh,
so
I gotta start reacting to some of your shit, dude. I gotta do like reaction videos to some of your stuff. Like
if you ever do,
while I'm reacting, I got to start eating while I'm reacting. Because most people react, but they're just kind of like staring at what they're reacting. I want to actually be eating on the camera while I'm reacting to your videos and just be like,
I post like a YouTube video every few weeks or every week or so. It's very inconsistent. I don't got a schedule, and to be honest with you, there's no editing. It's not that fancy. It's just me talking to a camera.
You've seen my bullshit channel. I've got no editing. I fucking do everything, and if I make an error, I just move past it. That's the easiest way to do it. If there's one thing I hate on YouTube, it's people who over edit. Like, if you ever notice, like some people will do like those fucking annoying jump cuts where they're just like, and I want to talk to you about this, and then because they made an error in one of the takes, but you see them here at one moment. I want to talk about Joe Biden, and then jump cut, and like their face is not consistently in the same spot, but you could tell it's an obvious fucking jump cut, and you're just like, just do it all in one take, or at least if you can't, just do it anyway and fuck up, and then get good at doing it in one take. And you won't have to do so many fucking jump cuts. Avoid the jump cuts is all I gotta say, because jump cuts.
Yeah. But that's the same with whenever like a Zoomer does like a thing where they confront like Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or anything like that, or even like Trump or whoever. They're reading their whole question from their phone, and it's like a 3-paragraph question.
Oh,
It's like,
God.
come up with your question, make it like 8 seconds long, and just go. Instead, they're like, you said blah, 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 blah. And they're sitting there reading, and you're just watching someone read.
You said.
Stop the reading. Just come up. You got 8 seconds to ask your thing. That's the new rule.
Yeah. One time I called out a channel called Midwestern Marks, and I had a bunch of haters on that video. It was very interesting. I'm like, this is the things I disagree with Midwestern Marks, and the guy's like, oh, you speak terribly. And I'm like, that's the first thing these Marxists come up with is traits. They come up with traits or not even actions that I've done. They say, oh, you're just terrible anyway. I'm like, what? Just call people names. First thing they do. It's like, what is wrong with these Marxists? Like, even Midwestern Marx, I call the United States imperials. Every time he's like, the imperials' powers, the imperials' powers. He says it over and over again. He says exploitation of labor over and over again. Does it mean anything anymore? Is there any meaning anymore if you keep saying it over and over again, but you don't define it? That's the issue I have with Midwestern Marx. And I think I did talk about that in the video, but
yeah,
it's
but
very
just come out and
interesting.
say it. Like, your channel was good. It's just you saying something. You know, a lot of these other between the jump cuts and the reading, you're just like, I'm just not going to click on this anymore. This isn't fun.
I used to do a lot of reading on my channel, but I stopped doing it because I realized that I'm just not a good reader. I can just formulate my thoughts once I've read the book. I just decide I'm like, oh, these are some ideas I can.
But you'd pull out a book and you'd be reading like a page out of it or something. But that's
Yeah,
different than someone like on their phone asking a question they've written out.
Yeah,
like
and they write it and then they have to redo it again. They have to they probably misfruit it and then they're reading it again. And it's just like, it's not very good because the first execution wasn't good when they wrote it down. And it was kind of a mess when they wrote it down. Then when they try to speak in the microphone, they're less confident about it. The second time, I guess.
Have you thought about just doing like a key takeaways from a book? Like, like not going into it too in depth, but like, like for instance, like I'll give you an example. Like if you did like my key takeaways from Poor Charlie's Almanac or something like that, or
yeah, I should.
Like you do maybe
I think I did it with Strongman Personal Finance's book a few years ago. Strongman Personal Finance's book. What was it? Stop Being a Broke Loser.
Yeah, yeah.
I did that a few years ago. That was a long time ago. There's a lot of spelling mistakes in there. I could tell he didn't have an editor. So I mean, when I was reading
he didn't even have Grammarly or anything. I mean, if you have Grammarly,
you should. I mean, I don't know if the book's on sale anymore, but the book that I have has so many spelling mistakes. Like even when I was reading it, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like I was reading it out loud on my channel, and I'm like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense the way he worded it. And then I'm like looking at this word, I'm like, this looks misspelt. Like it looks like a dyslexic wrote it. Like I don't know how to.
Strongman might not be the best writer in the world. There's that.
I mean, he's a good accountant. I just don't think I think he's better at numbers than he is at words. And I'm a dyslexic, so I can't really blame him that much. I am slightly dyslexic. Like I don't remember any of the letters in the words that I just read. I can read very well. But once you get me, how do you spell, I don't know, let's say divide. I was trying to spell divide today. I had to use my voice to text because I couldn't spell the word divide. So, I mean, like, I don't remember the letters in the words that I just read, but I do know how to read very well. It's very hard to, I process words individually. I don't process the individual letters in the words. So that's the type of dyslexia I got. I don't know if it's dyslexia or not. I don't know what you call it.
There are different levels to dyslexia for sure that I've noticed. I might even be slightly dyslexic. I've actually considered that. I just probably never been properly diagnosed because there are times I will admit I do read pretty fast though. One thing I did learn though, have you ever heard of the tangerine technique?
Tangerine technique. Is that like a test for it?
Well, no, it's so you imagine that you have any fruit, honestly, in your hand. Just imagine like you have a tangerine or an apple. Hold your hand out like this. It takes a little bit of practice, but it becomes automatic. So what you do is you hold an imaginary tangerine in your hand like this, right? And then you take the top back part of the forehead, right, kind of around this area, and then just put it right there and imagine it right around here. Just imagine it sitting on your head, right? It's just sitting there. And then close your eyes for a second. Keep imagining it there. And then open your eyes and watch your field of vision increase. But you keep imagining that in the back of your head on the top back part of it. And so top back, right around here. But you imagine it sitting there. And it helps widen your field of vision for what you can process mentally. And look it up. It's through photo reading. It's a technique that's used in photo reading, but it was actually a technique that was developed by somebody who's dyslexic, who needed a way to be able to process words and letters and all sorts of things in a better way, in a faster way. So that I actually use the tangerine technique when I'm becoming exhausted. So like if I'm kind of mentally like reading something, but I'm just like 20 pages in or 30 or 40 pages in, and I'm just like, I'll bust out the tangerine technique a little bit. And usually it's kind of automatic anyway. So I don't even have to do that whole imaginary. I imagine it right there on the back of my head. I don't even have to put my hand there anymore. I'm just like, oh, it's there. Close my eyes. My vision feels better. I feel like I could process things a little bit better. I can't remember the exact science behind it, but it was really neat because I just wanted to be able to read at a faster rate, to be honest, was why I learned it. But then I realized it's just handy to have. It's a handy. So yeah, look up the tangerine technique. If there's anything you could take away from me ever in this life, the tangerine technique is fucking sexy. It is sexy as hell. And I gotta stop saying everything's sexy. But I think you'll appreciate. I think you'll appreciate it, man. Because like I said, I think I'm a little bit dyslexic. Because sometimes after I read something, like my ability to process it kind of goes away a little bit. Like if that makes sense, like my memory of it kind of goes away. But like it's there. It's weird. But yeah, the tangerine technique actually improved a lot of stuff for me mentally with reading, and it allowed me to read a lot more in a lot shorter of a span. So
yeah,
remember that, folks. Tangerine technique, photo reading. Photo reading's really cool. I don't know. Look it up, man. It's sexy. It is sexy as fuck. So my mind's already kind of dead right now, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I think it's Ben Shapiro. He has like a photographic thing when he reads, so he can just like fly through books and stuff. That's what he says.
Oh, he's
Wouldn't
pretty.
surprise me.
I've listened to one of his books on my Audible. I forgot what it was. It was a 2002 book, something about universities and stuff.
Yeah, that was,
I think it was
his
something about
first one.
socialism.
That might
Yeah,
have been
there
his
was
first book.
It's probably his oldest book. I forgot which one it was. It was one in 2002 that I was listening to. It was about universities and something.
Yeah, it's
I think it was
called
about
Brainwash.
socialism.
Brainwash.
Brainwash. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the name of the book. Yes, that's the one I was listening to. Yep. I thought it was a very interesting book. I disagree with some of the things he said in there, but there was a lot of things I definitely agreed with. So, I mean, take some of the stuff he says with a grain of salt, but a lot of the first few chapters I really agreed with. His key takeaway I agreed with a lot. So, that book. That was a very good book that I've listened to. I haven't listened to any of his other books, but I've listened to some of Ben Shapiro's he roasts another college student or whatever. I think that sometimes I disagree with him on some of his roasts, but he's very good at debating. He's made a whole career out of it, and it's kind of impressive the way he's able to formulate his opinions at such a quick manner.
Yeah, he does process things very quickly, and you could tell. I mean, that's another reason why he probably speaks so quickly, because sometimes people who formulate thoughts that quickly sometimes tend to just speak very fast, very, very fast. Like it's insane. Like that's why it's funny. There was a meme or a lot of people saying in the comment section when Ben Shapiro came out with that rap with that one guy, Tom McDonald, they're saying he might be the only rapper in history who raps slower than he actually speaks. That was pretty good. I was like, okay, that's pretty right on.
And he's from California too. Californians speak pretty quickly though. I think. Yeah, Californians are.
I'm looking at this thing. It says Baltimore has better cheesesteaks than Philadelphia. Is that true?
Really? I don't believe that one bit. I've never had a Baltimorean cheesesteak. I've always had a Philadelphian cheesesteak. Philadelphian cheesesteaks are really good compared to. I've never heard that we might have more Brazilian steakhouses than Philadelphia, but I don't know. I've been to Philadelphia and I like their cheesesteaks. That's the one thing I will say they do better at than anybody else. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but maybe there's a restaurant that I've never been to, and I mean, how come I don't know about it? If they're really that famous, how come I don't know about them?
Yeah, and also there's no trash or recycling pickup tomorrow, if you're wondering, because the city suspended it after a worker's death. So they're going to focus on safety.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
so don't put your bins out tonight because there's not going to be any pickup tomorrow. So just hang on.
Well, I don't live in Baltimore directly. I live in a different community, but yeah, I live next to Baltimore. Oh.
Okay, Baltimore. All right, I'm reading Baltimore news. Let me type in cities next to Baltimore. I'll see what their news is.
Oh yeah, you'll find mine right away, probably. Let's see here.
Baltimore. What do they have in Oregon? Because you're crabs and everything too. But there must. What's like non-seafood in Oregon that's famous? Do you have like a weird pie or something?
Well, we're famous for our
donuts are shaped like their donuts are shaped like penises.
The what? The
donuts are shaped...
voodoo donuts. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have voodoo donuts where we have like people who make donuts with basically adult themed donuts and bakery and stuff. Like I think you get like cock cakes. You get like I think you get pussy cakes. You get boobs. You get all sorts of things. I think you get like probably shitty ass cakes or something like that. You know, I'm pretty sure people. I would actually love to go to Voodoo Donuts and do like a donut mukbang or something like that, where I just like eat on camera and then just upload it. That'd be sick. But
and that's in Eugene, right? Eugene, Oregon.
I think it's in both Portland and Eugene. I can't remember. I feel like they've expanded. I honestly have not kept up with them in a long time. Voodoo Donuts, but
I know they're the last Blockbuster is in Oregon.
Oh yeah, Bend, Oregon. Yep. Bend, Oregon has preserved it, man.
And I think they have a whole gift shop where you can buy like a Blockbuster T-shirt at Blockbuster, which is really funny.
It's smart though because it's like them keeping the last remaining Blockbuster open is actually smart. It's kind of a tourist attraction. Like, oh my god, it's like, hey, you want to? I don't know why.
I remember when I was a kid, I would go to in California. I would go to like the DVD movie rental place. I don't even know if it was a Blockbuster or not. I think it was like Video Movie or something, chain or whatever. But it was similar to Blockbuster. Blockbuster was such an interesting experience for me as like a little kid, and I kind of missed that. Just going on the shelf, just looking at the shelf and looking at all the movies. It looked kind of cool. And Netflix is not the same kind of experience. You're looking at the movies, but you're not actually walking around looking at the stuff. I just feel like you sort of get that with like GameStop a little bit, but it's not the same. They don't have like the snacks, like the popcorn aisle and stuff like that. It's such an interesting, weird experience with the Blockbuster. Like people after my generation will have that.
It forced people to have a reason to go out of the house a little bit. Which I get. I mean, I honestly look for any reason to get the fuck out of my house at the time, even if it's just me drinking in the park. Usually I'll be drinking like a couple Coors Lights at night in the park, being a total creeper. But yeah, it's I love it, man. I'll go down to the park if it's like really hot in the apartment, and because I live pretty close to the Mingus Park for the most part, and I'll go down there and just read a book under the street lamp at night, and it's fucking great. Like, oh, I love it.
By the way, my coworker might be going to Coos Bay. She was supposed to drive down in northern, like Oakland or San Francisco or something to see someone, but there's like fires or something in Northern California. But I told her, if you go down there, you're going to pass through Coos Bay because you're probably going to take the coastal highway. I'm like, let me know when you're there. I can hook you up with Garza, and I don't know, you can grill her some chicken or whatever you got. You got a George Foreman grill. But she's going out with like some friends and stuff. But I was telling her, because sometimes I'll do like a screenshot of me on YouTube. I'm like, that's the guy in Coos Bay. You're going to pass right through there.
That's funny though, man. Yeah, like Coos Bay is honestly a pretty cool little place. I think honestly, we got some nice little bars and stuff. People can do karaoke and shit or go see live music. It's not like it's just local bands basically that play. So you're not like seeing anything super extravagant. But yeah, I mean, Coos Bay for the most part, I think doesn't get enough of love, I think. And as far as because everybody's like, there's nothing to do here. It's like, oh, there kind of is. It's not like anything extravagant. Like, honestly, if you love nature, this place rocks. Like, I hang out in the forests a lot. So, because I'm a nature boy and I don't know, I just enjoy nature. So, yeah, no, that's funny though. She's going through Coos Bay though. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let her know this is the real deal, dude. Coos where it's at, man. She'll see the beaches and she'll be like, okay, this place rocks. So
Well,
Yeah, you remind me of the anthem of Oregon with all the nature you're referencing. Have you ever heard Oregon, My Oregon?
you know what's
That's
sad
the
is
anthem?
I've lived in Oregon my whole life and I don't even know the fucking state song at all. If there is
I
a state
do.
song. You have
My
it?
Oregon,
Is it really the
land
song?
of the empire builders, land of the golden west.
Dude, that's sick as fuck.
Conquered and held by freemen, fairest and the best. I forgot the rest
How
of the
the
words.
fuck am I in real Oregonian when a guy in Baltimore
Knows
knows the Oregon
of
song?
Oregon. You know they banned our state anthem for referencing the Civil War. So we don't even have a state anthem in Maryland, but you guys have a state anthem still? So sad. With
That's so
3 states
crazy,
don't
though.
even have an anthem. 3 states don't have an anthem. New Jersey, Maryland, and Michigan do not have an anthem.
That's so cool that you actually know mine, though. I had no idea that Oregon even had a state anthem
Yeah.
until now. This is news to me.
Okay,
Fucking
type
news to
of
me. That's
Oregon,
so
My Oregon.
crazy.
You're going to like it, I think. I think it's a good anthem.
All right,
by
let me
Rick
take a look at it real fast. Hold
Rick
on, let's
Pirin.
see.
Rick Pirin.
My Oregon.
Rick Pirin.
Say what?
Rick Pickering. Rick Pickering. He's the best singer for that anthem.
Let's see. Oregon, My Oregon anthem.
Rick Pickering.
Lyrics. Hold on.
Yeah. If you don't get
here
Rick
we go.
Pickering, let's hear it.
Well, I was actually just gonna sing it in my best Creed voice.
You can.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Land of the empire builders, land of the golden west, conquered and held by free men, fairest and the best, land of majestic mountains, land of the great northwest, forest and rolling rivers, grandest and the best, onward and upward forever, upward ever, forward and on, hail to thee, land of heroes, my Oregon. Land of the rose, and then we'll do a quick wrap here. Land of the rose and sunshine, land of the summer's breeze, laden with health and vigor, fresh from the western seas, blessed by the blood of martyrs, land of the setting sun. Hail to thee, land of promise, my Oregon. Sincerely, Susan Newton, my N1. All right, there we go.
I'm gonna go to the official Creed website and add this performance as one of their concerts. August 5th.
I had to do a Scott Stapp voice, man. If he does Oregon, My Oregon.
I think that anthem was in 1912. I think they made an anthem in 1912. It's a century-old anthem.
That's wild. Damn.
I can't believe you didn't know about it.
Not at all. Not a fucking clue until now.
So Maryland, My Maryland
crazy.
got controversial because they called Abraham Lincoln a tyrant. They called Virginia a nice state that rebelled against the Union. Maryland's anthem got canceled by our governor, who's currently serving. I'm not even joking. Look at the lyrics for Maryland, My Maryland.
Dude,
you have to look up the controversial lyrics of Maryland, My Maryland and read that. You're going to laugh. They called Lincoln a tyrant. They called Virginia the sister that is helping free against the Union. It's really funny. It got canceled because it's anti-union. I think 2 years ago, actually. It got canceled. It's not an anthem anymore for our state.
Well,
there's no anthem for our state.
My fat ass is getting a little bit tired. I'm going to give you guys, let's see, final words, final thoughts before I go and eat something. We'll go to Tim real quick. Tim, what's your final thought? Thought or whatever.
Final thought. Okay, this indie show Wednesday. What's your guys' prediction for septum piercings? And okay, here's the question: Will there be what will be a higher percentage? Septum piercings in the crowd, or percentage of beer that is made of hops? How hoppy will the beer be? How many septum piercings will there be?
First off, guaranteed 99% will be hops. Okay. I think we're going to go with 70% of the ladies will have septums. That's what I'm thinking.
So more hops than septum piercings. What
More
about
hops
you?
than septums.
I'm gonna say septums more than beer. I don't think everyone likes beer. Could be wrong. Maybe.
Are you
maybe
talking
unless the
about? Well,
person-
hold on. Are you talking about the type of beer that people are drinking? That
Yeah,
most
I'm going
people
to
are drinking?
indie show the greeting committee. Indie band, so it's going to be indie people. They like septum piercings and they like hops in their beer.
Yeah,
So
there's
what's gonna be-
basically nothing but IPAs is what you're gonna. Everybody who's
Yeah.
drinking beer, they're all gonna have IPAs. In fact, you know what? I changed my 99%. It's gonna be 100%. You're not gonna see a single Bud Light in that crowd. You're not gonna see a single Coors Light. You're gonna see nothing but IPAs and lots of dudes with tight pants on.
Okay, I would have to agree with that. Okay.
What are all these flags Aiden has in the background? It looks like a Martian flag. I don't know what
That's
that is.
Arizona. That's not Mars, my friend.
That's Arizona?
Yeah.
I thought that was like from what was that movie? Mars Attacks.
We hail the Arizona, our goddess and our queen.
Is that canceled? You know all the
No,
canceled
that anthem's still around. That's an anthem that's still around.
That should be your next. That should be your first OnlyFans. I sing canceled. I sing canceled state anthems.
I should really do that. my Maryland got canceled. Oh yeah. So the one thing I'm gonna say for these closing words, I'm gonna say listen to the 50 state anthems. That 3 of them are unofficial, but 47 of them are official. By Rick Pickering, Pickeren, Pickeren. Pickeren. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but I know to spell it. But he does the state anthems very well.
Here,
says someone named Rick Pickering is facing
That's
child.
probably wrong spelling, but
No, that E is not there. That E is the E in his last name.
Says someone named Rick Pickering is facing child rearing charges. Is that the same guy?
If it is, then I feel really bad for telling people to go there.
No, you did it with the purest of intent. It's okay.
I had no idea. I just know he makes all the state anthems. In his
It's supposed to be a different guy. This guy is using Snapchat to lure teens in Canada. It's a totally different thing.
No, he's American. This Rick. Okay.
I feel like my eyes go wide a little too much because I'm like, what the fuck?
What are we looking up? I don't even want to know.
But
I just typed it in.
But no, I want to thank you guys seriously for we're the only 3 white dudes that will ever vote for Kamala Harris this year. But we may be alone, but we're united together.
Well, she tried to say she's black, but before she was Indian, I say make Kamala white again.
No, well, I don't want to say that because then YouTube's gonna find a way to ban me. YouTube, I'm not responsible for what Tim said there, but he might have a point.
Make Kamala in. Here's what you do: have a curry mukbang for Kamala. Make Kamala Indian again.
Well, yeah, it's like here's the thing: Kamala and I have one thing in common.
Yeah, but Tim Dillon had a mukbang for Gaza, and he ate a bunch of hummus. You can have a curry mukbang for Kamala and make her Indian again.
Kamala and I do have one thing in common, though. We become the minority within us that better suits the crowd that we're a part of. So I may be 25% Mexican, but you bet your ass I'm going to pretend to be Mexican when it suits me. No, just kidding. But
what about when you walk into those like 50-50 where it's KFC and Taco Bell together? Which side do you choose?
Oh, I go both. That sounds fucking good. That sounds so good, dude. Oh my god.
They have those here. It's like half KFC, half Taco Bell.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you got it, but because I think they're owned by the same company, so sometimes they'll just combine them into one restaurant. So you got.
Damn, dude, that sounds so good to me. I'd be getting a bucket of chicken and getting some fucking chalupas.
Yeah, you get a Baja Blast with your bucket of chicken. Oh, there's another canceled flag. What's that one?
This is called Dominican Republic.
Nice.
Oh, look, I got the answer. I already showed you this one, probably. Let's see, it's a bunch of boxes on there. Look, Ingsoc. I probably showed you that one.
Ingsoc, did they do January 6th? Who are they?
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah. No, I was kidding. This is the smallest territory in the world, Pekin Islands.
Nice.
We're from Pekin Islands. We're I know the anthem of Pecan Islands. I'm so a nerd. I know the Pecan Islands anthem.
You should go to the Olympics. Sometimes one of these countries wins some and they don't have an anthem ready to go on a tape. You could like sing it.
Yeah, probably should. Here's St. Lucia. They've got their first medal right here.
Nice.
St. Lucia.
Get it, dude. That's a sweet ass map, by the way.
Yeah, I got all the territories and everything on this map.
I need
They
to
even
get
got
myself
the-
a map.
Where's the oh, here's the this is the French Antarctic, I think, Antarctic like territory. Where's the British one? This is the British one. The only Americans are allowed on this British territory. This is an interesting one. So there's American military personnel on this British territory, which is rented by the Americans. Like only Americans are allowed to go on this British territory. And they had to kick out people from Mauritius, and they had to move them all the way down here. It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
So
dude.
they kicked out the natives so they can build an American military base on a British territory.
That's kind of fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
you guys, I got a jet. I got to eat something real quick. But anyway, love you guys.
Goodbye.
Mad,
See you
mad
around.
love. Kamala makes you holla. That's all I'm going to end this with. Later, guys.
That's right. Oh, that's
Goodbye.
good.
See you
Kamala
around.
makes me holla. I'm stealing that.
Come on.
Kamala
Goodbye.
makes me holla. Later, guys.
Goodbye.